Awaken the strength within you. Chosen ones. This is your call to rise above the noise, to stand firm in the face of deceit and betrayal. Let this truth settle in your heart. Lies are loud because they are hollow, desperate to echo in empty spaces and fool the unwary. Truth, on the other hand, carries no need for grand proclamations. It is steadfast, unchanging, and requires no audience to validate its existence. Picture this. Those who once claimed to love and support you, who swore loyalty in the light of day, are now the very ones who, in the shadows, twist your story to suit their own purposes. They whisper untruths behind closed doors, spread slander in hushed tones, and create a version of you that is unrecognizable. Suddenly, you find yourself cast as the villain in a narrative you never even agreed to write. How cruel, how cowardly, but also how predictable. You see, gossip is the weapon of the small-minded. Studies show that 60% of people spread rumors to feel important, to fill a void in their lives that they do not know how to confront. The remaining 40%, they do it for the thrill, the drama, the fleeting spark of life it brings to their otherwise mundane existence. Imagine the fragility of a soul that requires tearing someone else down just to feel significant for a moment. Every whispered lie, every venomous remark is nothing more than a futile attempt to harm you. They believe they are throwing punches, but they do so in the dark, blind to the consequences. What they fail to realize is this: the divine sees all. Every action, every word, every thought, it is all accounted for. And here is where they underestimate you, chosen ones. You are not just survivors. You are warriors, builders, and creators of your own destiny. Betrayal may cut deep, but it does not destroy. Instead, it strengthens, refines, and prepares you for greater things. The weight of betrayal becomes the foundation for your rise. And as for karma, it may move slowly, but it is methodical. It observes, it calculates, and when it finally arrives, it does not come softly or subtly. No, karma crashes through the doors like a storm, unrelenting and undeniable. This is not a tale of vengeance. It is a story of truth, revelation, and justice. Let the liars and betrayers take center stage. They may think they have won, that their falsehoods have taken root, but they have forgotten one crucial detail. Truth has a perfect sense of timing. It reveals itself not in haste, but with precision, at the very moment when the world is watching, when the lights are brightest, and when the lies can no longer be sustained. And when it does, the fallout will be spectacular. Their carefully constructed illusions will crumble, and their audience will see them for who they truly are. So hold firm, chosen ones. You were never meant to be destroyed by their words. Instead, their attempts to bury you are merely setting the stage for your ascension. Every whisper of doubt, every fabricated story, is building momentum for your breakthrough. Let them watch. Let them believe they have the upper hand. The greatest plot twists come when least expected, and when your truth is revealed, it will be nothing short of poetic justice. Remember, the strongest souls are forged in the fire of adversity. Betrayal is but a chapter in your story, not the end. Stand tall, chosen ones, for the best is yet to come. The truth is on its way, and when it arrives, it will shake the very foundation of those who sought to harm you. Let your spirit remain unbroken, for your time is near, and oh, what a glorious moment it will be. Number 1, the universe never forgets. The universe operates with a sense of justice that often goes unnoticed. It watches silently, keeping record of every word spoken, every deed carried out, even those performed in the shadows. The lies they told, the venom they spread, they may have felt invincible in the moment. Their smirks and smugness reflected their belief that they had won, that they had bent reality to fit their version of the story. And for a while, it might have seemed like they were right. Perhaps their words carried weight with others. People may have listened, believed, and even turned away from you. It is a unique kind of pain to witness trust dissolve and see the people you counted on become swayed by falsehoods. Meanwhile, they strutted through their lives, confident in their illusion of control, certain they had successfully buried the truth. But the universe is not so easily manipulated. Every action sets in motion a series of ripples, unseen yet inevitable, flowing outward and eventually circling back. This is not about the oversimplified concept of karma. It is far more profound than that. It is the principle of cause and effect, of balance in its truest sense. Lies are not just moral failings. They are structural weaknesses. No matter how tightly constructed, falsehoods cannot endure the relentless pressure of time and truth. For a while, those who spread deceit might live in comfort, believing their actions are without consequence. They build their lives atop shaky foundations, unaware that every lie is a crack weakening the entire structure. Time, however, is patient. It chips away at their walls, slow and steady, until the weight of their dishonesty becomes too great to bear. When their carefully curated facade begins to crumble, it will not be a quiet undoing. It will be catastrophic, leaving them exposed to the harsh light of reality they sought to avoid. The most liberating aspect of this universal balance is that you do not need to intervene. While they remain trapped in the chaos of their own creation, layering lie upon lie, exhausting themselves in a futile attempt to maintain control, you are free. Free to focus on yourself, free to heal from their betrayal, free to grow beyond the reach of their schemes. Every moment they spend tangled in their deceit is a moment you can dedicate to building a better, brighter future for yourself. And then, as it always does, the truth will surface. It may come as a whisper, a quiet realization in the hearts of those who once doubted you. Or it may arrive like a thunderclap, sudden and undeniable, shattering the illusions they so desperately clung to. The unveiling of truth will not merely reveal the lies for what they were. It will expose the intentions behind them, the cruelty, the selfishness, the desperation. Those who were quick to believe them will see everything clearly, and the weight of that realization will be as heavy for the liars as it is liberating for you. This is the justice of the universe. It is not immediate, but it is unyielding. What they once celebrated as their triumph will transform into their greatest downfall. The very actions they took to harm you will return to them, not as petty revenge, but as the natural consequence of their choices. It will be their own hands, their own words, that undo them. So let them cast their stones. Let them revel in the temporary satisfaction of their supposed victory. While they are consumed by their own darkness, you will be ascending into the light, untouched by their schemes, unshaken by their attempts to destroy you. The ripples they send out will travel far, but they will always come back. And when they do, you will be standing tall, stronger than ever, a testament to the enduring power of truth. Because the universe never forgets. It sees everything, and in the end, it ensures that balance is restored, no matter how long it takes. Number 2, truth ages like fine wine. Lies and slander are like fireworks, bright, loud, and attention-grabbing, but ultimately fleeting. They burn out as quickly as they light up, leaving only smoke and ashes behind. The truth, however, is like fine wine. It takes time to mature, to develop its full strength and richness. But when it's ready, it's impossible to ignore. People often fall for lies because they're packaged to entertain and provoke. A juicy rumor spreads like wildfire because it feeds into emotions, curiosity, outrage, or even jealousy. Lies are designed to be fast-moving. Their survival depends on immediate reactions. But the truth is patient. It doesn't need a flashy entrance or constant attention. It simply waits, simmering beneath the surface, gathering strength as the noise of the lies begins to fade. And then, when it finally emerges, the impact is undeniable. The truth doesn't just correct the record, it dismantles the entire web of deceit. It makes people question everything they thought they knew and leaves no room for doubt. Unlike lies, which often crumble under scrutiny, the truth stands firm. The beauty of this process is that time becomes your ally. While the liars scramble to keep their story alive, patching up holes with more lies, the truth remains unshaken, growing stronger with every passing moment. When it finally comes to light, it doesn't just set the record straight. It leaves a mark so deep that even the boldest liar can't recover from it. So let the lies have their moment. Let the slander run its course. Because when the truth finally steps into the spotlight, it doesn't just speak, it roars. And when it does, it'll be worth every second of the wait. Number 3, their words were seeds, but you're the gardener. The words they spoke were meant to harm you, to tear down everything you've worked for and break your spirit. Each lie, each slanderous whisper, was a seed they planted with the hope that it would grow into chaos and destruction in your life. But here's where they miscalculated. You're the gardener, not the soil. You decide what takes root and what doesn't. Instead of letting their poisonous words consume you, you turn them into fuel for your growth. Every lie they told became a lesson, every insult a challenge, and every attempt to bury you an opportunity to rise. They didn't realize that in trying to destroy you, they were actually helping you refine yourself. Their negativity became the compost that nourished your resilience, clarity, and strength. Now the seeds they scattered have grown, but not into the destruction they intended. Instead, they blossomed into a garden they could never have imagined. While they expected to see ruins, they're now confronted with your flourishing success, a living, breathing reminder of how little power their words actually had over you. The irony is almost poetic. What they intended for harm has only made you stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable. They thought they were controlling the narrative, but all along, you were shaping it into something beautiful and undeniable. Their words may have been the starting point, but you decided how the story would end. And now, as they stand there bewildered, watching you thrive, the truth is clear. They were never in control. You've taken their negativity and turned it into a masterpiece. Number 4, God doesn't let the guilty rest. There's a truth about guilt that no one can outrun. It clings to the soul, lurking in the quiet moments when the world isn't watching. The people who lied, slandered, and tried to tarnish your name may look carefree on the surface, even smug. They might laugh louder, act bolder, and put on a show of confidence as if their actions have no consequences. But behind closed doors, where there's no audience to impress, the weight of what they've done begins to settle in. God has a way of ensuring that wrongs don't go unaccounted for. Justice doesn't always come with fanfare or public humiliation. Sometimes it's private and unrelenting, a silent reckoning that creeps into their thoughts at night, into their moments of stillness. They may try to drown it out with distractions, but the truth is relentless. It echoes in the spaces where their lies once thrived. Their guilt becomes its own punishment. Every success they chase feels hollow because, deep down, they know it's built on dishonesty. Every smile they fake is a reminder of the people they hurt to get there. They carry the invisible weight of their wrongdoing, a burden that grows heavier the longer they ignore it. God doesn't let the guilty rest, not because he seeks revenge, but because he seeks redemption. That nagging guilt, that persistent whisper of truth, is a call to make things right. Unease is a call to accountability, an invitation to confront the damage they've done and make it right. Whether they choose to listen or continue running is up to them, but one thing is certain. The burden won't ease until they face the truth. So, while they may appear unbothered now, remember this: no one escapes the weight of their actions. Sooner or later, they'll feel it, and when they do, it'll be heavier than they ever imagined. Number 5, a lie is a temporary shadow. Lies have a way of creating temporary darkness. They can spread quickly, clouding people's judgment and casting doubt on everything you've worked for. For a moment, it might feel like the sun has disappeared and you're stuck under the weight of someone else's fabricated shadow. But here's the thing about shadows: they're fleeting. No matter how big they seem, they can never overpower the light for long. The truth is like the sun, constant, unshakable, and eventually impossible to ignore. Lies might momentarily dim its brilliance, but they can't erase it. The brighter and more consistent your truth, the more fragile the lies become. With time, the shadow they cast begins to fade, revealing the cracks in their story and the strength of your reality. What liars often forget is that a shadow doesn't belong to the one it's cast upon. It belongs to the one creating it. While they work tirelessly to throw darkness over you, they never notice how much of their own light they're losing in the process. Lies take effort to maintain, energy to sustain, and creativity to expand. Meanwhile, the truth requires none of that. It simply exists steady and unchanging, waiting to shine through. When it does, the shift is undeniable. The same people who believe the lies will suddenly see them for what they are, desperate attempts to obscure something that was always brighter and more powerful. The liars are left standing in the darkness of their own making, unable to escape the consequences of their actions. So let the shadow come. It's only temporary. Your truth is the sun, and no matter how long the lies linger, they'll never outlast the light you carry. Number 6. Not everyone deserves your revenge. Revenge can feel like the natural response to betrayal. When someone lies about you, slanders your name, or goes out of their way to cause harm, the urge to retaliate can be overwhelming. But here's the truth. Not everyone deserves your energy. You've reached a level where their actions are more about them than about you. Their betrayal reflects their character, not yours, and lowering yourself to their level only gives them more power than they're worth. Choosing not to seek revenge isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The path they've chosen, of lies, deceit, and destruction, comes with its own set of consequences. Every action they've taken has set a chain of events in motion, and eventually, they'll have to face the results of what they've done. Karma doesn't need your help. It works on its own timeline, ensuring that what goes around truly does come around. Your refusal to engage doesn't mean you're letting them win. It means you're winning in a way they can't comprehend. While they're consumed by bitterness, plotting, and scrambling to maintain the lies they've built, you're free, focused on growth, success, and building something they can't touch. Their downfall won't come from your actions, but from the weight of their own choices. Watching it unfold is the ultimate vindication. You'll see them stumble not because you pushed them, but because the path they chose was always destined to collapse. And while they're busy dealing with the mess they created, you'll be thriving, untouched by the chaos they tried to drag you into. That's the kind of justice they never saw coming. So step back, let life do the work, and remember, your time and energy are too valuable to waste on people who can't see beyond their own shadows. Number 7. Time exposes all masks. Lies might dazzle at first. They can paint a convincing picture, win over an audience, and even make the guilty seem innocent. But lies, by their very nature, are fragile. They require constant upkeep, endless repetition, and a web of additional falsehoods to stay intact. Time, however, is a relentless force. It exposes every crack, every inconsistency, and every truth that was buried beneath the surface. The people who cheered their lies and believed their slander will begin to notice the flaws. Maybe it starts with a small inconsistency, a detail that doesn't quite add up. Over time, those inconsistencies snowball, turning their once polished narrative into a patchwork of half-truths and outright fabrications. The masks they wore to disguise their intentions start to slip, revealing the faces they've worked so hard to hide. Lies aren't sustainable because they require effort to maintain, and no one can keep up the act forever. The cracks may take days, months, or even years to fully appear, but they will appear. When they do, the same people who supported their lies will begin to question everything. Once trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to regain. The beauty of time is that it works silently, without you having to lift a finger. While they're busy trying to control the narrative, you can focus on your truth, knowing it will outlast their every attempt to distort it. Their slander may have been loud and convincing for a moment, but it's no match for the quiet power of time and truth. Eventually, their undoing will come not from anything you've done, but from the weight of their own dishonesty. The lies they relied on will collapse, leaving them exposed and isolated. Time doesn't just reveal the truth, it ensures it triumphs. Number 8. Reputation is temporary, character is eternal. Reputation is a fragile thing. It can be built up in an instant and destroyed just as quickly by the words of others. People will judge you based on what they hear, what they see, or what they're told. They might try to tarnish your name, spread false rumors, or twist your actions to fit their narrative. But reputation, as fragile as it is fleeting. It's only as strong as the surface it's built on. And once the truth begins to surface, it can crumble in seconds. Character, on the other hand, is different. It's the core of who you are, the values you live by, the choices you make when no one is watching. Unlike reputation, character cannot be erased or altered by others. It's something that stands the test of time, weathering every storm and every attempt to tear it down. What the ones who spread lies about you fail to realize is that in trying to ruin your reputation, they've exposed their own lack of character. When someone resorts to slander, deceit, or manipulation, it reveals their own insecurity, bitterness, and inability to face the truth. Eventually, people begin to see through the lies. They notice the difference between the person who has been unjustly targeted and the one who's been spreading falsehoods. The truth about your character will always shine through louder and clearer than any rumor or attempt to smear your name. And when it does, it will leave a lasting impact that no amount of slander could ever erase. Number 9, the chosen ones don't seek validation. Validation is a currency for the insecure. Those who seek it obsessively rely on the approval of others to feel important, often twisting truths and fabricating lies to gain the spotlight. But when you're chosen, when you've been built for a higher purpose, that need for external validation dissolves. Your worth isn't tied to fleeting opinions or temporary applause. It's rooted in something far deeper: endurance, truth, and the clarity of knowing why you're here. The chosen ones don't play the game of public opinion. They understand that seeking validation is a trap, a shallow pursuit that keeps people tethered to the whims of others. Lies and slander thrive in that space, feeding off the need for attention. But you've moved beyond it. Your focus isn't on proving your worth to those who doubt you. It's on walking your path, fulfilling your purpose, and letting your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Here's the irony. The people who spread lies and seek validation often do so because they fear irrelevance. They crave the attention you naturally command, not realizing that their desperation only highlights their emptiness. Meanwhile, you're not chasing after approval. You're busy building something real, something lasting. Your strength lies in the fact that you don't need the applause. You don't need to convince anyone of your truth, because your truth stands on its own. It's unshakable, and over time, it becomes undeniable. The chosen ones don't seek validation because they know they're walking a path not everyone will understand, and that's okay. True purpose doesn't require an audience. It requires resilience, focus, and the courage to keep moving forward, no matter who's watching. Number 10, their own words will be their undoing. The lies they told might have seemed convincing at first, carefully crafted and strategically placed to manipulate perceptions. But the truth, no matter how long it takes, has an uncanny ability to expose itself. Words are powerful, but they're also fragile. The more someone lies, the more they weave a web that becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. Eventually, those lies begin to unravel. When the evidence of the truth emerges, it won't just clarify things. It will obliterate the narrative they've tried to create. The beauty of this process is that the truth doesn't need to scream. It doesn't need to fight against the noise of false accusations. Over time, the weight of their own words will be too much for them to bear. The lies they spread, intended to destroy and distort, will collide with facts that can't be ignored. The cracks in their story will become impossible to hide, and their credibility, which they so desperately tried to protect, will implode under the pressure of their own deceit. What they didn't account for is the fact that lies are always temporary. They may have played the part, manipulated the narrative, and watched it spread, but the truth is like a force of nature. It will find its way to the surface. When it does, it will expose the depth of their dishonesty, leaving them with nothing but the shattered remains of their falsehoods. Their words, which once seemed so powerful, will only serve to reveal their character. The people who once believed their lies will start to see them for what they truly are: manipulators who tried to destroy someone else to elevate themselves. When that moment comes, it won't be your actions that bring them down. It will be the weight of their own words that buries them. The truth doesn't need to fight, it just needs to show up. And when it does, it will expose them for who they really are. Number 11, your growth is their karma. Nothing stings more to someone who has tried to tear you down than watching you rise unscathed and unstoppable. The effort they put into dragging your name through the mud, spreading lies, and sowing doubt about you is meant to diminish your worth. But in reality, each step you take toward success becomes a silent declaration of their failure. Your growth is the mirror they refuse to look into, the constant reminder that their attempts to destroy you have only propelled you forward. They thought their slander would make you shrink, that their words would diminish your spirit and steal your momentum. Instead, it's had the opposite effect. Every challenge you faced, every lie they told, became the fuel that powered your rise. While they remained trapped in the darkness of their own deceit, you continue to evolve, reaching new heights that only serve to expose their limitations. Your success is their karma, a reflection of their failure that they'll never be able to escape. The frustrating part for them is that they'll never truly acknowledge the role they played in your growth. They won't see that every time they tried to knock you down, they only helped you become stronger, more resilient, and more determined. Your progress becomes their personal reminder that they can't control you, that no matter how hard they try, you are beyond their reach. They may never admit it, but deep down, they know that their actions are the very reason for your success. Every victory you claim amplifies their defeat, and while they stay stuck in their bitterness, you move forward, leaving them in the past where they belong. Number 12, God, in His infinite wisdom, saw everything. He witnessed every whisper, every scheme, and every shadowed act. But what those who sought to harm you did not realize is that they were not the only ones watching. In the quiet spaces of the world, others were observing too, silent, unnoticed, yet fully aware. These silent witnesses were the ones who saw through the smoke and mirrors, who discerned the truth hidden beneath layers of manipulation and deceit. While your adversaries were consumed with their attempts to rewrite reality, spreading lies, twisting narratives, and weaving false stories to tarnish your name, there were others paying attention. They did not announce themselves, nor did they intervene in the moment. Instead, they stood at the edges, listening, watching, and taking note. Their silence was not indifference, but a quiet form of resistance, a refusal to be swept away by the tide of falsehoods. They were waiting, patiently and deliberately, for the moment when the truth would inevitably rise to the surface. These observers understood something profound: that truth does not need to shout to be heard. It does not need to argue or defend itself. Truth exists in its own quiet, unshakable way. It is like a seed planted deep in the soil, unseen for a time, yet steadily growing, waiting for the right moment to break through the surface and flourish in the light. The lies may flourish briefly, like weeds overtaking a garden, but they cannot endure. Over time, the truth will stand resilient, immovable, and undeniable. And so, these silent witnesses watched as the drama unfolded around you. They saw the chaos, the noise, and the spectacle created by those who sought to cast you as the villain. Yet they were never fooled. They saw the cracks in the facade, the inconsistencies in the story, and the desperation that often accompanies deception. They recognized that the louder the lie, the weaker its foundation. And though they said nothing, they were already aligning themselves with the truth, your truth. When the moment arrives, and it always does, when the web of lies begins to unravel under the weight of reality, these silent allies will step forward. They will no longer remain in the shadows. Their quiet observation will transform into active support, their presence a powerful testament to the strength of truth. They will stand beside you, not out of obligation, but out of conviction. They will recognize that their silence was never neutrality. It was a deliberate choice to wait for the right time, to let the truth reveal itself in its own undeniable way. There is a certain beauty in their quiet loyalty. These individuals were with you all along, even if their support was not visible. They saw beyond the surface, beyond the labels and accusations hurled your way. They saw the core of who you are, the integrity, the strength, and the authenticity that no amount of slander could tarnish. They knew, even in the midst of chaos, that you were not the person your detractors made you out to be. And when the moment of revelation comes, when the truth emerges like the first light of dawn breaking through the darkest night, they will not simply acknowledge it. They will celebrate it. They will stand by you, not because they were asked to, but because they always believed in you. The lies they were told never had the power to sway them. They may have heard the accusations and witnessed the attempts to rewrite reality, but they were never deceived. They were waiting, watching, and holding on to the knowledge that truth is not only the strongest force in the room, it is also the most enduring. And when that truth finally comes to light, it will shine brighter than any lie, illuminating everything it touches. In the end, it was never about fighting to prove yourself or arguing against the false narratives. It was about enduring, standing firm in the knowledge that truth does not need defense. It simply needs time. The silent witnesses knew this. They knew that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, would always rise. And when it does, they will not just stand with you. They will become living proof that truth, though silent at times, is never powerless. This is the essence of your journey. The triumph of truth over deception, the quiet loyalty of those who believed in you, and the unyielding light of reality breaking through the darkness. And when it all comes to pass, the silence will give way to a chorus of voices, standing together, celebrating the strength of what is real and unshakable. The truth was always there, waiting to be seen, and now, at last, it shines. Number 13, they underestimated the profound and unyielding power of silence. To them, your silence was nothing more than a symbol of surrender, a perceived weakness that they believed could be exploited. What they failed to realize was that your silence was never passive. It was deliberate, a meticulously planned strategy. While they expended their energy spewing venomous words and hurling baseless accusations to tear you down, you were quietly and methodically laying the foundation for something far greater, your inevitable and undeniable comeback. You had an intrinsic understanding that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence, in its stillness, possesses an unparalleled ability to convey strength, resolve, and an unwavering confidence. While they were consumed by their relentless noise and futile attempts to undermine you, you stood firm, biding your time and conserving your energy for a moment that would render them speechless. Each word they uttered only served to entangle them further in their web of lies, exposing the fragility of their facade. In contrast, your silence became your greatest asset, allowing you to observe, reflect, and prepare with precision. There was no need for you to descend into the chaos of their petty verbal skirmishes. Engaging in such fruitless exchanges would only have lent credibility to their narrative, giving them the attention they so desperately sought. Instead, you chose the higher road, fully aware that your actions would eventually echo far louder than any words ever could. When the moment finally arrived, your comeback was not merely a reaction to their vitriol. It was a revelation, a testament to the truth that had been steadily growing stronger with each passing day. This truth, painstakingly cultivated and nurtured over time, emerged with a brilliance that eclipsed any of their falsehoods. What they had once mistaken for vulnerability in your silence was, in reality, a formidable strength, a weapon that left them unprepared and powerless. In the end, it was not their harsh words or venomous actions that defined the story. Rather, it was your patience, resilience, and unwavering strength that shaped the narrative. The lies they spread, though loud and forceful, were no more than fleeting shadows, desperate attempts to obscure a truth that was destined to rise above the noise. They underestimated the permanence and power of truth, a force that neither seeks validation nor thrives on theatrics. It simply exists, standing steadfast and immovable until it emerges victorious. Their words, no matter how loud or insistent, could never alter the essence of who you are. Each lie, each malicious whisper, became fuel for your growth and a mirror reflecting their own insecurities. They believed they could diminish you, yet their actions only served to fortify your resilience. While they schemed and manipulated, silent witnesses observed the unfolding drama, knowing all too well that truth never needs to clamor for attention. It waits, steady and patient, for its moment to shine, and when it does, it silences every falsehood with its undeniable clarity. Your journey, your triumphs, and your unwavering character stand as the ultimate vindication. True strength does not seek revenge. It rises above, unwavering and resolute. In doing so, you watched as the very forces that sought to drag you down crumbled under the weight of their own dishonesty. Their downfall was not the result of your retaliation, but the inevitable consequence of their own malice and deceit. Karma, after all, unfolds on its own terms, guided by the natural order of justice. As you move forward along your path, the undeniable truth of who you are will continue to shine brightly, while the falsehoods they created fade into irrelevance. Truth always has the final word, and when it speaks, it obliterates all opposition. Nothing can stand against its enduring power. If these words have inspired or empowered you, consider sharing this message with others. Subscribe to stay connected and discover more content designed to fuel your journey of resilience and inner strength. If this resonates with you, please like, comment, and share it with those who might need a reminder of their own power. Together, let us amplify the truth and rise stronger as a united community. Thank you for being an integral part of this movement. For your strength and support inspire others to find their own courage and resilience. Let us continue to rise, not as individuals, but as a collective force, spreading truth and light wherever we go.